I'm trying to say is you have Storke Tower. It's such an iconic landmark that everyone knows. We see Storke Tower on stickers. We see it on the university's flyers, but no one really knows what Storke Tower is.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we came to this topic, and when we went to the archives, what our reaction was. What did we actually find?
We decided to do Storke Tower because it was the main landmark in UCSB. It's like the symbol.
I think for me, it was just really understanding, why this tower existed or why this structure existed in the first place. For me, I feel like I just don't know why it's there. I reference it all the time. I hang out in Storke Plaza, but I don't know why the space was even created in the first place.
We went to the archives and we opened up that first photo album. I know you and I had this reaction where we're just, whoa, immediately.
Like, wow,
yeah. Because we just saw a picture of Storke under construction and there wasn't a Storke Tower. It was just an arch being built. What was that feeling like? Do you remember?
You have this time capsule. It totally transported me to way back when Storke Tower didn't exist. You have this really high quality photo of Storke Tower, or what is to be Storke Tower. There's this dude that we're assuming is Thomas M. Storke, and he's out there shaking hands with one of the regents. This is the cornerstone. I think it's really powerful to me because he had this vision, but he never got to experience it, and he never knew how impactful that space is today. And it's just really moving to me in that sense.
I think the coolest thing we found was that document that the students wrote in protest to Storke Tower being built for having spent that money on building a tall tower instead of making a department for ethnic studies. And yet today we see those minority groups like Hong Kong Student Association and TASA using that as their grounds for their night market.
At least now I have a name to associate Storke Tower with. Before it was always Storke Tower, but I didn't know, hey, there's a guy behind it, like Thomas M. Storke. He's the one that fronted this cash for Storke Tower, and his original idea was to have a monument dedicated towards student-led journalism and student-led activism. And looking back now on how the space is used today, I see students, protesting around Storke Tower. I see clubs of various ethnic backgrounds, using the space to flyer and table their events. KCSB is there, and I think that's a really prime example of journalism.
So I went to visit Professor Richard Flax from KCSB. He worked there for 30 years, so he had a lot to say about how Storke Tower and KCSB underneath it has been used over the past few decades and how it's being used right now.
So I'm Dick Flax. I've been a professor at UCSB since 1969, and I've actually had many years of involvement with the station.
Since journalism has changed throughout the years, what kind of role does KCSB play for the Santa Barbara community?
The thing about KCSB that's different from a commercial type station or NPR or independent station, it's all done by volunteer broadcasters. So what's on the air depends on what individuals or pairs of people maybe come up with as ideas for programs.
Does the fact that KCSB is located directly underneath Storke Tower, does that play any kind of symbolic influence over the campus or the area?
It feels like the fact that it's adjacent to the Nexus and other student publications probably has certain kind of symbolic meaning, that this is the place where news or journalism comes from. Somehow we're beaming out to the world.
How old is this elevator?
As old as the tower. Almost 50 years.
Wow. When we went up to the bell tower, what are some things that you thought were interesting?
So I thought going up to the Storke Tower was just a really great experience because, I've never been up there. The tower is closed off. No one really gets to go up except for these students who play the bells up there. Getting this aerial view of the UCSB campus from such a high vantage point was really eye-opening because you get to see the entire campus. You're not exposed to that view all the time. What was really unique and not something I really expected, were the radio equipment that was integrated in the actual tower. It's not just us using the space, it's gone beyond that. These radio telecommunication companies like AT&T actually have their equipment in Storke Tower because it's the highest point, so it's great for sending out broadcast signals. It serves as like a really big telephone pole, basically.
I didn't even know students went up and played the carillon. I thought it was automated.
Good spelling.
What do you think Storke Tower represents, and what do you think, playing this instrument represent?
I think I see it as a way of unifying the campus, even though not many people know people are up here playing. I think it's a nice symbol for people to hear music throughout the day, or even to hear the clock tower. It's kind of a symbol of the university.
In class, we had this discussion of what's noise and what's sound. Again, noise is something that we don't really attend to and we don't really expect or want. And when I was initially aware of Storke Tower, I just thought of it as noise, right? These random notes coming out of this tower that just plays awkwardly. But now understanding that, someone goes up there, hey, my friend actually goes up there, or someone I know, it's more personal to me. So I feel like I want to attend to this, and it's not just noise anymore. It's like a melody. It's sound to me now.
I think Storke Tower isn't a waste of space. There's actually a purpose to it, and then we utilize that.
It doesn't just exist. And I think that's very important to consider. You go to this school, you should have some idea of why certain things, why certain policies are implemented, why certain spaces or buildings exist like the way they are. If there's anything that I can give to any underclassmen or anyone who's basically listening to this, who in a sense shares the same identity with me, whether you go to school here or you're from the community, there's a vibrant history to UCSB, and it's good to just be aware of the culture and the identity of our campus.